should get united. Like, what we gotta do is meet everybody on 149th Street at the bench.
Alright dudes, today I want to do something different. If you saw the community tab here on my YouTube channel, you probably saw me go ahead and say I was going to New York. So today I wanted to take a second to appreciate and admire some of this graffiti and share it with anybody who's not anywhere near New York. Along the way we might give some tips and, talk about some fundamentals here and there and, kind of do that whole entire thing. So while I was on the way there, this is one of the street letters I came across. Look familiar? That's going to be one of the common themes of today's video. We're going to be seeing a lot of familiar faces. In fact, we're going to be seeing somebody's hand style who I honestly never thought I'd see in my life in person. We also got a Roan tag here. He typically does a really simple hand style. I'm sorry the picture quality isn't the best, but they typically have a really simplistic hand style, and I love it. They get up a lot around me, especially in like highway spots, really populated areas, and it's just textbook hand styles, man. Everything they have, it's a shame this is the only one I have because they have a lot of dope stuff as well, but everything they have is always really, really clean, really sick, really dope. And the same goes for the straight letter as well. Like, Mad has always got dope work. You guys know, you guys have seen their work before. And this is a great time to take the opportunity to say, like, a lot of people, especially newer graffiti artists, tend to think straight letters and simple stuff is like plain, boring, and toy. And I cannot stress enough how untrue that is. Any experienced graffiti artist will tell you, simple stuff is not toy. And oftentimes the better way to go. Now, while we were on our way to the museum, I came across this one wall that had 4 really nice throw-ups. Nothing special, just really nice, clean, and effective throw-ups. That's what you love to see, man. Nothing beats silver and black throw-ups. I swear, it has like a certain vibe to it that just is unmatched by anything else. Now, for those of you guys who aren't anywhere close to New York, you may not like have seen this or you may not know this too much, but New York typically has really simplistic hand styles. That's not to say that all New Yorkers have simple hand styles, not by any means. And that's not to say that the simple hand styles aren't capable of doing more complex things, but that tends to be the general aesthetic you'll see a lot. And we'll see that a lot here as well. So with this Brax tag, we once again have that more simplistic aesthetic, and it works out so beautifully. Look at how the letters just ever so slightly overlap. That is perfect negative space management that you should be implementing in your own work. This kind of negative space management gives your letters enough room to breathe, but it also puts them close enough together to maximize flow. Because as you guys know from previous videos, flow can be proximity dependent, right? With line uniformity and similarity. Now, typically this is really expanded upon with your pieces because obviously you have more lines to deal with, but it works as well in hand styles. God, man, nothing beats just a nice, clean, crisp tag with perfect fundamentals. I love this. Is probably one of my favorite hand styles that I've seen in New York. I also really like this one as well. A great representation of how people can still have a lot of style, right? Not everything in New York is simple, basic print font hand styles. While this may not be the most wild hand style you'll ever see in your life, it still has a lot of flair to it. You have the G here in the beginning, the L sits right on top of it. A little bit too close to the G, but this is expected when you're doing tags out in the street. Not everything is going to be 100% consistent. You got to allow people to have a little bit of leeway because, either their nerves are kind of worked up a little bit or they're trying to do it a little bit faster. You got to leave room for a little inconsistency when people are out tagging. It's only fair. But what I love most about this hand style is how they did it at a slight bit of an angle. Look at how their baseline is slightly tilted up and to the right. This lets them put their L right on top of their G and lets them progressively put every letter higher. But notice how each letter kind of also has its own angle downwards. You can really see this on the bottom of the E, where the bottom of the E shoots down to the right. This really helps to rebalance all the letters as they go up and to the right. This shoots down and to the right. The R does it to a small extent, and so does the A. A really nice effect. I love the way they pull that off. I don't even know if it was intentional, but it was nice nonetheless. This right here, once again, one of my favorite hand styles I saw in New York. I love this salt tag. First off, the S, real nice, but the L has a certain flair about it and it looks beautiful. The fact that they were able to flow that L with all the other letters flawlessly is absolutely astounding. They did a phenomenal job, and you know what? Props to them. Definite kudos to them. Right here, you'll see one of my favorite stickers we came by in New York. I mean, there's not much to say about it other than this is pretty dope. I love the cartoon character. I just love the overall aesthetic and how they were able to express with the cartoon, right? Oftentimes in graffiti and especially street art, you see the same cartoon over and over again. It's the character with a hard lean to it, with like one eye open or something funky going on with the eyes, and then they always got their tongue out, and it's always the same sock puppet looking cartoon. And I'll be honest, I kinda hate it. But this right here, dope. Love it, sick, awesome. That's an actual cartoon with actual character developed into the cartoon itself. That's what you love to see. Lesk, here we go. I actually know a Lesk. Now, I don't know the guy personally, but I met him at one of the walls I used to go to. I used to visit quite often. And I remember he told me a story about the origins of graffiti in Newark. And I put quotation marks because I'm about to, kind of expand on the story and fill you guys in a little bit. But he was telling me how there was a graffiti artist named J-Star. And he was kind of like the first graffiti artist in Newark. And he was going over the whole entire history and all that good stuff. But what he doesn't know is my dad actually mentored J-Star. My dad has multiple black books with J-Star's hand style in the book. And my dad came from New York to Newark, and he took a tag on Orange Street where he hit a door, and it was the first tag in Newark at the time. Like, there was no graffiti around, and other people started to see that, and he became known for being a graffiti artist in the area. And other people started to pick up graffiti and whatnot. They started to have a little bit of fun with letters, and there was a kid named J-Star who took an interest in graffiti, and my dad began mentoring him. Well, my dad went off to the Marine Corps, and poof, gone, right? No longer in Newark, he's off in the Marines. But J-Star kept on doing graffiti, and now J-Star is credited for being one of the first graffiti artists in Newark, something that Lesk didn't know. And I have to wonder if this is the same Lesk that I met at the wall, which I honestly don't think Lesk likes me very much, but that's not relevant to this video at all. But regardless if it's the same Lesk or not, dope hand style. Love it. Absolutely love it. Which, mind you, this is probably a good time to say, I never promote doing work illegally out in the streets just because I don't want any of you guys to get into any trouble, but it's an aspect of graffiti that we simply can't ignore. Pasta. I mean, I actually just had pasta for dinner, and I like the pasta I had, and I like their hand style. Simple, right? Nothing else to it. Jesus Saves. Now here we go. I never thought I'd see this guy's work in real life. I've been to New York plenty of times since I've knew about this guy. Went this time, I saw him 3 times in one day. I was schmeckledorfed. I didn't expect it. I had no idea this is who I would be seeing, and needless to say, I got really excited. And he also always just seemed like a really sweet guy, so props to him. Definite props to him. Another Jesus Saves sticker as well. I'm telling you, I saw the guy 3 times in one day. It blew my mind, seeing as I went a whole decade without ever seeing his work. Now, this was a shame, man. I wish this photograph came out better. I really do. But I mean, I was in New York. I was trying not to get hit by cars that were like rambunctiously moving around, all right? You gotta forgive me for the blurry photograph, but that red throw up was nice. That red throw up was crisp, and I really wish I had a better photo of it. I loved it. It looked great. Look at this tag. Take a second to appreciate the uniformity in the flow and the structure in this man's tag. Look at how each letter seamlessly flows into the next and has a ton of uniformity throughout each letter, despite the fact that a lot of these letters are vastly different from one another. They keep the hand style relatively simple throughout all of the letters, and look at how they really pop that R off. Now, the R is pretty common. You might have seen that similar R either around your town, your city, or even on social media. Once again, it's a pretty common R. But here's the thing. You can tell this guy actually understands not only the fundamentals, but how his name works. He's got everything leaning to the left. Why? Because the R is about to take up a megaton of space and weight with its flourish and its large bombastic structure. This is methodical, it's planned out, it looks beautiful, and the execution was just as good. Truly somebody who knows what it is they're doing. They're able to add style when it makes sense, and they know when not to add too much style. Not every single letter is crazy, not every single letter is over the top, not every single letter is filled to the brim with style. That's a mistake a lot of newer graffiti artists make. This is somebody who knows what they're doing. And easily my favorite hand style in New York. I might have already said it about somebody else's hand style, but that person gets the boot, alright? This is pretty dope. I'm telling you, try that with your hand styles. Try to go ahead and do all of your letters real simplistically, and then just add a little tiny bit of style to one of the letters. I think you might end up liking the results you get. If you're especially like a more intermediate graffiti artist, that's a great tip. Newer graffiti artists, keep it simple, practice the basics. More experienced graffiti artists, you already know how to do this. And you know we couldn't go to New York, and not take a photograph of an RD tag. This dude's been around for a millennia. I swear, he's been around since the beginning of time. Maybe not that long, but he's been around for a long time doing graffiti, and you know what? He gets up a lot. I actually met him in person. It was really dope seeing one of his hand styles in person. Not the first time I've seen his stuff in person, but it's always nice seeing his stuff in person, for sure. Regardless whether or not you like the dude's style, you gotta respect the work somebody puts in. And this dude's been putting in work longer than half of my demographic has been alive, and that means something. But dudes, let me know what you guys think about some of the graffiti I showed you in today's video. Honestly, if I take more trips, if I go on different adventures and whatnot, I'll definitely be sure to do this again. But let me know you guys want more of this sort of content by hitting the like button. If I don't see that like button go up, then there's no way for me to know. But on that note, I'll catch you guys next week. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys next week. I already said that, but you know, peace. Thanks for watching. I already said that too.